Hi, I'm Dr. Carolyn Edwards, and this is Get Your Life, the show where we have guests on and they tell you all about their journey, the ups and downs, and their successes, and hopes that you too will have the confidence to get your life. I hope you've been tuning in, and if you like the show, help us grow. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, the notifications button, so you don't miss any of this life-changing content. We have an amazing guest today, Miss Sandrell Apatira, and she's a real estate professional and a mortgage professional, and she's going to tell you all about her journey and how you can get your life too. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you are doing such amazing things. I want you to tell us how you got into real estate. What was it about real estate that was interesting to you?
Truthfully, I wanted time freedom, and I didn't know anyone in real estate, but I knew that they controlled, their life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know which area of real estate I wanted to be in, and I just took a chance, got a job in real estate. PK Management, shout out to them.
All right.
We were taking care of FHA foreclosures, and that was like my best entry into the business. I didn't know not one real estate agent.
Wow.
I didn't know one loan officer, but I got that job, and it showed me the behind the scenes inner workings of real estate. And I just knew that was a 5-year contract. So I was like, okay, well, you got to go all the way,
Right.
And I was not sure at all that I want. As a matter of fact, I was completely against being a real estate agent.
Why?
Because my understanding of being a real estate agent came from HGTV,
Oh.
and I was like, honey, I would go crazy if I hear those people talk about drapes and tile,
Right.
So I didn't think it was what I wanted to do, but my man was like, you have the personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no. I went and took the test to be a loan officer, and I got too scared to take the test. And I was like, no, but I'm going to get locked, behind the desk. And he was like, just do the real estate.
Right.
And I finally did. And here I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have to go to college to be a real estate person, investor, mortgage person?
No, you don't have to. It's not a requirement.
Okay.
You can, they have real estate degrees, finance degrees that you can cross over into working in mortgages, but you absolutely don't have to do any of that.
Okay. So what does the test, in order to sell real estate, I want to be a realtor. What does the test consist of? Do I need to go to a class before I get to the test? So tell the people, what does that consist of?
Yes, you have to go to a class. There's a mandatory amount of hours you have to do in classwork, and then you have to sit for the state test. And truthfully, most of what you learn in class and for the state test is about you understanding the legality of real estate and how to protect and take care of people. After you do that test, they pretty much feel like, okay, you know how to stay legal. You know how to keep people safe. Now you go out there and learn how to be a real estate agent. So it's literally two different dynamics. After you get past that test, you're going to be like, okay, now what?
Now what? And that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Okay, I passed the test. Now what? Because like what you said about being stuck at a desk, am I going to be stuck at a desk? Or am I going to get a check? You talked about a contract. I have never heard anyone say they got a contract as a realtor, but tell me what that is. And what does being a real estate mean? Like, what's next? I passed the test. What's next?
You pass the test, and then truthfully, you actually have to start evaluating your skill sets. And I honestly wish someone had told me this.
Okay.
Because there's so many ways that you can serve in real estate. If you want to be an apartment hunter, you can help people find short-term, living situations in apartments. You can help people find short-term rentals, like 6 months or less, a couple of weeks or less. You can help people get placed into assisted living facilities. You can help people relocate from one end of the state, another country, into your city. It literally is an endless industry, right? Because housing is up there with our air that we breathe.
Right.
You need a place to stay regardless. And then there's commercial. You can help businesses locate, places to do their business. There's just so many things you can do. You can help people buy land, sell land, start mobile trailer homes. There's so many things that you can do. So I would say start with your immediate skill set.
Okay. So what is it
you
that
start
you like
there.
to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So the reason why I wanted you to come on the show is kind of like what you said. There are a myriad of things you can do. When you think of realtor, I'm sure nobody ever thought about all those things that you just said. But one thing I love about what you do as a realtor is you are doing something different. And I'll let the audience know that you have a free every week Monday call that you allow people to come on to. What made you do that?
Well, the first thing is that people need so much help. As I transitioned from my work with the HUD contractor that I mentioned earlier, PK Management, we took care of FHA foreclosures. FHA is a loan a lot of people use to lower the barrier to entry into ownership.
Right.
And we took care of foreclosures. So every list of properties that I got every day, 5 days a week coming into work, these people had lost their home.
Oh, wow.
And I, after getting acclimated to what I was doing, because I was brand new to the industry, I had no idea what was going on. But as it started to sink in what was happening, I just began to wonder, like, what happened to these people, right? Like, you see growth charts on the wall, you see evidence that people have lived here and grown here, and how did they lose it?
Right.
And that was just this question that stayed in the back of my mind. So I knew from then that people needed help.
Right.
By the last position, it was a government contract. So, honey, you didn't come in with one title and leave with that title. You did a little bit of everything. It was like cross training, which was wonderful. Yes. By the end of that, I was working in a financial department in that contract, and I saw people running into liens and violations, and houses that had been meth houses, and just so many different things. And I'm thinking, wow, like, I live in a community, but I've paid none of this any attention in my own community. So when I did get licensed and I went out into, the world, I started door knocking. This is what they teach you to do in traditional real estate. You door knock, you increase your visibility to people so that they can know and love you and like you and give you business. So I was like, okay, I'm going to door knock in hot Miami. Okay. So I'm door knocking, and you know what? People didn't want to sell, but they needed help.
Right.
They needed help reading their mail. They needed help understanding the notices that came in the mail. They just needed help with regular life stuff that transitioned into sometimes why they had to sell.
Right.
Why they couldn't sell. And that whole world started to open up to me, and I said, wow, people just really need help.
They need help.
Yeah.
And so I will tell the audience, so I'm trying to help them to grab the tips for success out of this. And one of the tips is you saw a need. Yeah. You saw something that was not being fulfilled for the people that were losing their homes. And one of the things I will say is success is not all about money. I find when you help people and they know that you care about them, you will get more business, more referrals. You do not have to market yourself.
Yeah.
You will get people that share your TikTok just because you help them.
Yeah.
So as you saw a need, did you start your call first with just yourself?
Long before the call, because after COVID, the whole digital space completely transformed, right? And how we used it. So long before the call, I started hosting seminars in person. So I was going around and I was begging anybody that could give me a space.
During COVID?
Before COVID.
Oh, before COVID.
Yeah,
okay.
So this is before COVID, pre-COVID. I was going around, I was in the libraries, community centers, anybody that had a space and I could use it for about an hour and a half. I was like, let me use your space, and I was putting on free seminars, teaching people basically what I do now. Okay. But we were kind of secluded to a topic,
Right.
right? Because it was like an hour and a half, and it was
Right.
going to be one time, and I may not get another space for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing the seminars, but during COVID, I saw how the space was transforming.
Right.
But during COVID, I was sick, not with COVID though. So I had to wait, until I got myself better on my feet. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Because people were still needing help even more so then, right? So many people passed away during COVID. So many people lost jobs.
Yes.
So people were in distress. There was a moratorium for mortgage payments, the moratorium for evictions. People were literally scrambling for their life because they didn't know when these moratoriums were going to end.
Right.
And people needed even more help.
And even the people who were losing homes, but I'm going to say the landlords needed help too.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
when they stopped evictions, we still have to pay. If we have loans on our property, we still have to pay a mortgage, but we have no money coming in. And so I love how you discuss all of that.
Yeah.
I love it. And so when you looked for the class space, you did free space.
Yes.
You try. Okay.
Yes.
So libraries and somebody that would give you a space for free.
A community space.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay.
Because I wasn't selling, any tickets or anything. So I needed, to offset the cost. There were other costs that I had to pay. So paying for the room would have been like, okay, this is a lot.
Right. And people need to know that when you are starting out in business, so we're talking about tips for success. When you are starting out in business and you already have costs, let's say if you have printing costs and you have office costs and you have gas costs, you want to do like what you said, there's an opportunity to find spaces, especially the library. Some churches will offer the space if you are helping the community. So if you're providing a service, a benefit that's going to benefit their people, their constituents, their congregation, then that is a great way to find free space.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got the free space, you did the free seminars, then COVID happened. And so what was, like you said, the landscape had changed. So we could not get together like we're doing now. We could not be in each other's presence and each other's spaces. And so what clicked and say, I need to start going online?
Because you have to make a decision, right? Like me, I'm a community person. Long before real estate, I was that girl at the marches, the town halls, just doing community work. I used to have a community show back in the day. So I've always been that person.
Okay.
I've also been the person that loves to help people. So in any job that I had, I always found a way to help people a little bit more, right? So that was what comes natural to me. However, that does not get you business in real estate. Yeah, that does not get you business.
Always get you a check. You have to find out because you have to eat too. You have to pay bills.
And I know just as much as anybody else, I had a mortgage to pay.
Exactly.
So I didn't want to end up on the chopping block myself.
Right.
So, but then there comes a time where you have to make a decision, and that decision is: are you going to help people?
Exactly.
Or are you going to leverage your knowledge sometimes against people's better interests? Because the thing about real estate is if you're not closing a sale, you're not eating.
Exactly.
Right? Very seldom are you eating unless you're like on some hourly something.
Right.
So there were so many times where I have someone in my presence that wanted their home.
Right.
They did not want to sell. And I knew that I had the skill to help them keep their home, but it was not going to give me a sale.
Right.
And absent of a sale, a lot of people don't have a couple $1,000s to pay you for your time and your knowledge, your skill. So I made a decision that I was not going to prey on people.
Right.
I made that decision because it was just very apparent. And here I am laying in my bed groaning like, God, how am I going to do this?
Right.
Because how am I going to serve? And how am I going to eat? How am I going to secure myself? And so I had to make a very intentional choice that I am not going to martyr myself either.
Right.
Right.
You have to eat.
So,
you have to eat.
Yeah. So I had to find a way to serve and to work.
And I'll just say for people that are in service, because even for myself, I do counseling, the marriage counseling, spiritual counseling, all these things. And I want to help people. And I feel bad. That's why I'm bad at sales. I feel bad about asking for the money, but I have to eat too. So what I do is lower my costs, like what can I charge and still be able to pay my bills and still be able to live and eat and things like that. And sometimes, like you said, it takes introspection, because everything in our culture is like win, get the money, get the bag, no matter what it takes. And so I like what you said, that you have to make a decision. You have to think about what kind of person you want to be and how can you live with yourself. And so in that, you decided, I want to help people. I still want to eat, but I'm going to give them this service.
Yes.
So from that, what made you decide to do that online call? And were you the first person?
I don't even know. How
long have you been doing it?
It's been 2 years. June made 2 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's been 2 years that I've been on every Monday, except holidays, because honey, on holidays I'll be sitting there all by myself. I'll be sitting there by myself. But I don't know if there are any other people doing it consistently. But I just examined my options, and I was like, okay, you work for yourself, but you don't have really time freedom you think you have, right? Because you have to work, and when you work for other people, you work on their schedule. So the illusion of time freedom is, what it is.
It's different.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, did you start it solo, or did you start it as a team?
I started solo. Listen, I sent out an email and made a few phone calls, because I didn't even know about the mass text system at that time. Right. I called a couple of people. I think my first show was like me, my daughter, my cousin, running her kids around in the background. It was just family, and let me tell you, my family is tired of me with real estate, but they endured me. I think we were on for about 30 minutes. And at the time, I was doing what was called farming. So I was calling people that were in distress. So I would just invite them to the call. I would say, hey, I see you're in distress in your property. And I know you're getting a lot of calls, because if I could get that far, people are hanging up because they're tired of everyone calling them, right? And here I am calling. Right. And so I said, listen, I'm going to text you this link. Hop on Mondays. You can see me. I'm a real person. You can ask questions. And I'm not trying to pressure you to sell. I just want to see if we can help you before you have to sell.
And so the other thing that I love, and I'm going to say this is a success tip, because everybody wants something. Everybody's calling. Everybody wants you to buy something or do something. And the difference I love about the call, you're not selling anything. No. You're not trying to get anything. No. And you're giving. Yes. And that's what makes the difference. Don't always think, I got to give, take. Yeah. Take. I got to get somebody. I'm going to take something. I got to get this money. But you are giving. And that, I believe, is one of the true secrets of success, because like I said, when you give somebody something, it's like, oh my goodness, she didn't take something from me. And then I'm going to tell my grandma, I'm going to tell my auntie, I'm going to tell my friend. And then you're going to get more business that you never even had to go after.
Well, most people think, right, it is true. I guess I am giving. However, when I look at the landscape of the business that I am in, it's a relationship-based business, right?
Yes, it is.
And if I'm watching the community that I love to work in, that I live in and love to work in, literally get gobbled up by aggressive investing people who are making decisions that don't know what they're doing, that are working against themselves, that is drying up my business.
That's true. I never thought about it like that. That's true.
Yeah, it's taking away from the longevity of my business. Right. When you think about a home that is sold as a distressed property, that investor comes in, rehab, a rehab property in this market is selling for 500 and above. Right. Versus if I can get to Miss Johnson and Miss Johnson can, even in the condition that it's in, if it can sell maybe a little lower, now that can be attractive to someone that's native, that has plans to fix that property up over time. So it literally changes the landscape in the place that I do business. Not only that, that's a native. That's someone that I can continuously have a relationship with.
That's right. And they will stay in the community. That's the other thing. So it's not like I just come, I rehab, I fix it up, and somebody comes that's not going to stay. They just want to make a quick buck. You have a generational system, a generational community, because it's like, okay, she sold me my house, so now I'm going to tell my neighbor, and then I'm going to tell my friend, and she helped me to not go into foreclosure. And that's very important. And I don't see many people that do that. I see on the back end, you know, let me give you some money and then I'm going to charge you 50%. You know, it's like the predators are coming.
The blood is in the water.
The blood is in the water. So all the sharks are coming. And so the difference is that you're doing it different and you're thinking about them as a person and not just a property or a dollar.
Yes.
And that makes a difference. Yeah. People feel that in their heart. Yeah. And that's who they want to do business with.
Well, these are the people you have to run into at the grocery store, you know. Mm-hmm. These people you're going to pull up at the gas station. Mm-hmm. And if you were that person that gave them ill advice, if you were that person that, you know, was in favor of the investor and you just know you didn't get them a fair shake, you know, you will see them again.
They remember that too.
Yeah.
They remember that too.
Yeah, you will see them again. So when you
take grandmama house and you didn't tell her about these predators coming again, they remember that too. Yeah. So that goes both ways. If you treat them right, they will praise your name and tell everybody about that. But if you do them wrong, you do them dirty, they will also tell everybody
and
about
I have a very unique name. It's no hiding from me.
No, you cannot.
There is no hiding from me. So me and my one name, we gonna do good business because I'm not avoiding my neighborhood stores or gas stations because it's people out there looking to tell me about myself.
That's
absolutely not. No.
So I want the audience to know it's not just you anymore. You have leveled up in these 2 years and now you have experts. Let me just tell them, success to me is more than just a business strategy. We have to do this together. So it's about relationships and it's about who you professionally and personally align yourself with. So how did you pick the people to have a seat at that call table? How did you pick them?
I didn't even go out and literally pick. These are people that over the years I formed relationships with through business. And not even all of them, right? Some of them are people that I recently have met, but I like the way that they work.
Okay.
And that was, I didn't go out and say, ooh, you know, that guy is popular or handsome, I want him.
Right.
These are people that I have worked with that I will trust, you know, to do work with again.
I like that. How did you get them? Now, I just want the audience to know, these are not any run-of-the-mill people. No. You have attorneys, you have pastors, you have community leaders, you have politicians. Yeah. How in the world did you get them to donate their time on a Monday night? It's normally 2 hours, 7 to 9. How did you do that?
It was not hard because we all have the same problem, people not understanding. And when you're at work working with someone, you can't teach at the same time. You can try, you can explain things, but the way most people are novice to the industry, it would take repetition to really get them to understand some of the concepts and the industry things to understand in the industry. So these are people that share the same frustration as me in their work, right? People not understanding. And because they don't understand, they lean into maybe a fast talker or someone who's attractive to them with some nice shoes, a nice shiny watch, a nice shiny car, but they're feeding them total BS.
Right.
But because they are not leaning into understanding, they're leaning into, you know, something else that's more attractive.
Right.
We see people go awry all the time. So it wasn't hard to get people to sign on to a space where we could literally just teach and make people understand. That makes our lives easier. So it really wasn't
That's
hard.
true. That's true. I never thought about on the back end, because if you are trying to help someone, it makes sense that they understand, because if they understand more, then you can get through your process and they don't have to feel like they're being taken advantage of. I had one senior, and this young man, they know seniors are lonely, and a lot of technology they don't know.
Yeah.
So he talked very fast and he smelled very good. And he prayed on the fact that she was lonely and that he would be her friend. And I promise you, after that conversation, he called a few times because he wanted her to sign up for something. And I told her to pay attention to what he's saying. He asked if he could come to her house. And I was like, no, if this is a business person, let's say if he's a realtor, why does he want to come to your house? Why can't you meet someplace out? So what I also love about the call is you talk about stuff like that. The experts talk about things like that. That doesn't necessarily have to do with real estate, but you want them to know, because that knowledge is power, and maybe you will sidestep the smooth talker next time.
Yeah. I remember the first time that I explained the way some of the communication systems work. So, and really in any industry, but especially in real estate, if you want to run a consistent business, you use what's called a CRM, a customer relationship manager. I think that's right now. And so it's where you store all of your customer data. So you have all your customers there, and it tells you how long it's been since you reached this person or that person or the other person. And it gives you this note section where while you're talking to this person, you're making notes. Oh. So when you answer the phone and you say, hey, listen, I got to run. I'm going out to visit my friend at the hospital. I have to talk to you later. They're putting that visit friend at the hospital. So when they call you back on this 2-week loop, they're going to say, hey, Miss Johnson, how's your friend in the hospital?
Wow. See, I
and
didn't
you're
know
thinking
that.
This is, he remembered. Sure he did. He is right there on the screen. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I was on a call yesterday, and one of the things that I like, I say it's almost like a counseling session too.
Yeah.
Because as a grief counselor, you hear the grief, you hear the fighting, the bickering, and it's not necessarily, I just want to fight you. Anger is a stage of grief.
Yes.
So people are like, why are they so mean to me, or why are they so mad? Because it all plays together. And that's why it's so smart that you have all different kind of people, because that affects the real estate transaction.
Absolutely.
We can never get anything done if we're fighting for 10 years and we may lose our home.
I would say emotions take over 90% of regular real estate transactions. There's some emotion in there that is guiding the decision.
Wow. I've never thought about that, but when I listened last night, I was like, wow, you're going off with your siblings, not because of money, not because really of the house. It's the emotion. That's what it is. It's like you're grieving when somebody passes. I was like, why do we lose our mind? Then I was like, oh, it's the stages. They walking through the grief.
Yes.
And instead of understanding that anger is part of it, it's like, you did this to me and you made me mad. And so now we're fighting each other and we can't get anything done. So I love it. So, okay, that's your business circle. How do you choose your personal circle?
Much the same. If you are not a good person, I don't have time.
That's honest.
I just don't have time. And as a older person, I can say that. As a younger person, listen, the worst people have the most fun.
Right.
They're the fun folks, and you're gonna have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through this stage where you had to basically categorize people, right? You got your fun friends, you got your this. But now I find that I don't have much time for any of that.
Exactly.
Look, if you're a good person, we good. And good doesn't mean you go for everything or you're holier than thou. It means that you just move with intention and you just not about a whole bunch of chaos.
Yes, because my next question was, what's more important, character or talent?
Absolutely character.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You can develop talent, but character is going to get into those places that talent will never touch. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I tell people, I teach people greatness does not happen on a 9 to 5. We already said real
Mm-hmm.
estate is not a 9 to 5. It's the late nights, it's the weekends, it's the studying, it's the network, it's the aligning, it's the Monday call. So, what advice would you give for people? It may not be in real estate, but what kind of like greatness and success advice would you give our audience?
Lean into your strength. Lean into your strength. And if you want to serve in a way that is not a strength for you, then develop yourself, push yourself and develop yourself. I've done other businesses outside of real estate and I've always leaned into people. I love serving people. And, I would be upset with myself sometimes. I would be like, girl, you just got to find you, somebody to help,
Somebody.
So I lean into that when I think about business. I don't lean into the numbers alone. I don't lean into, connections or any of that. I lean into the people and I lean into the end result of helping those people, right? What does it
That's
look like
awesome.
when I help someone through something and it works for them?
All right. Well, I told you this time was gonna go by fast.
It did.
It flew by.
Yeah.
So look into the camera and tell people how they can find you.
My name Sandrell Apatira, and my real estate name is Miami Real Estate. On most social media. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been Get Your Life. Remember to subscribe so you can help this show grow. The podcast you can find on Apple and Amazon and Spotify, every place. And then you can also find the show on YouTube at Dr. Carolyn Edwards. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, the best thing you can be is you. Until next time.